Hey everyone. I came on here right quick. I actually meant to get on here a little bit earlier, but you know how it goes. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to get. Okay. Uh, Pretty soon I'll have my room all cleaned up where I can get to my desk anyway. Um, Hi, Lady Blonde Wolf. Long time no hear from. How are you? You been okay? Ugh. I think that's how a lot of us feel right now. Stuck indoors and not getting to do what we really want to do. I thought I'd come on here and let's talk about Halloween. Yay. Your neighbors are crazy. I'm fortunate. I don't have any on my left side, and across the street, they're extremely quiet. And to my right, since they moved in there, they're kind of noisy, but it's pretty much a whole bunch of kids all the time, which doesn't really bother me unless they're still out there playing at midnight. Oh, you got a hexing in the works? Not gonna ask what it's for. I'm not supposed to know. So I gotta turn on my selenite lamp. Ones beneath us have threatened a neck-lock psychopaths, and the ones in the basement. One in the basement is making. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And you can't go anyplace else, can you, to get away from them? That's dangerous in more ways than one. They could do something wrong and blow the whole stinking building up. Think you know about it and get you involved, or worse. You don't need that. Ooh. Bless your heart. Hey, Gadava, how are you? Crossing landlord, no. So, why aren't they doing anything about it? I do know that they have to have enough, you know, proof and evidence and all that to make it stick in a court of law. So, I want to dump hot foot powder out here, but I know that I would get seen because messing up. Yeah, yeah, and you don't want to give them any reason to look your way. They'll just give them a reason to get at you, especially if they get busted. You can't move. You can't go somewhere else. I know it sucks to have to get up and move, but it seems to be the safer option. How are you doing, Godiva? I'm a little late getting on here, but it's Saturday night. I'm always up late. Oh, my foot keeps going to sleep. Yeah, I've had some weird things going on around my house, but we just moved here. We're stuck here till next August. Oh no. You sign a lease? Hey, if that was the case, I'd tell my landlord, screw it. I didn't know that you allowed these kind of people in here, or I wouldn't have moved in here. You'd have to break that lease or let you break it. Hot foot powder, well, it really depends on what intention you put into it. Usually you'll set it in front of a path that you know that your target's going to walk. They step through it, and let's just say really bad luck comes their way. The only thing is, Godiva, with the hot foot powder, you got to be careful no one sees you put it down, which is kind of hard sometimes. You break a lease with them, and they just take you to court. Okay, well, let them do that. That would not scare me a bit. If they want to be that way and take me to court, I'd stand right there and tell that judge why I'm moving. Then the landlord's going to get looked at like, well, if you knew this was going on, why didn't you do something about it? Yep. Yeah, I know, sweetheart. So I know you're just stuck, huh? I'm scared the girls. Right. Dang, woman. I don't know. That's not good, though. And it really bothers me, too, because I know you don't see well at all. And if they do something down there that starts a fire, I mean, oh, it just scares me to think about that and your safety. Yeah, yeah. Well, and do me a favor, just for my sake, I won't worry about you. If you're going to do that, when you put your intent into that, um, here's one of the few times that I would say with harm to none. I don't always say that. There's certain times I do, because that right there, if whatever you're putting on them, well, in the process of them getting busted, other things could happen. Like I said, the fire or a shootout where somebody else, an innocent bystander, could get shot. I mean, if you remember, I told you I've worked in law enforcement and I've been a nurse. So I have seen a lot of stuff go on, especially where there's drugs involved. So just be careful. Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, do all you can do. Keep a low profile. I mean, like I said, I don't want them thinking that you know something that could put you, at danger, in danger. So, Godiva, how long have you been a witch, sweetheart? Or are you a witch? I mean, I do have some people that watch me that aren't actually practicing witches. Oh, my back is killing me today, y'all. Not yet. Well, you're working on it. And most of us older witches don't mind helping at all. So that's what I'm here for. But if I'm just interested in it very much. Well, yeah. I have a bunch of videos um, for beginners that you can look at if you want, and there's slews of them on the internet. Because as I always say, just because I do things a certain way doesn't mean the next witch will, and doesn't mean you will end up doing them that way. It's just a basis to build on. The basics pretty much every witch uses. Some will cast circles every time, some don't. It's so vast. It'll keep you busy. It'll keep you busy just learning about it. I mean, it is. And honestly, and I always say this, I didn't ever realize uh, how many classifications of witches, um, how many, just there was so much until I got on YouTube. I mean, I've always been a witch. I've been a witch since I was 8 years old, if not sooner. I just came into remembering at 8 years old. Um, but I didn't know there was no eclectic witch or green witch or garden witch or um, any of that. You were just a witch. And which is something I want to bring up again real quick. I think I've said this before. Now and that you're new, I want to reiterate that um, you don't have to designate yourself as an eclectic witch or any of the others I just said. You're a witch. Because, in all honesty, 99.9 of the witches will use every single one of them in their practice. I mean, yeah, they might have their specialties, I guess, like doctors. You have your regular MDs, and then you have your specialists, your cardiologist, your oncologist, um, um, epidemiologists, all the ologists that, they specialize in that, but they're still a doctor. So, I mean, I use everything. I've tried to classify myself, and if I had to, I guess it would be an eclectic kitchen witch. I do a lot of my work in the kitchen. That's just where I'm comfortable. That's where I boil my herbs on my stove, if I need to. But then I do all the rest of it too. So I don't know. That's just something I don't get. Everybody, stereotyping themselves. I mean, you can if you want to. I'm not telling you you can't. I'm just saying don't let it overwhelm you to where if someone says, well, what kind of witch are you? What do you mean, what kind of witch am I? I'm a witch. Pure and simple. Let me ask you this. Do you do private readings? I can. I've tried that on here. I think I've done it twice. And I'm telling you, girl, I was on here one time for, I shit you not, 5 hours doing free readings. I about killed myself that night. I don't have what do they call that? The pay app. Well, I don't charge for them, anything like that. But I'm just not going to sit here anymore and do 300 readings. Number one, that just racks my brain, and I was sick for 2 days after that. But I mean, I can do one for you right quick if you want, because it's just you and Lady Blind Wolf right now. So, is there a specific thing you want to know? Do you have a specific question, or I'm telling y'all, I keep messing with my air conditioner. This time of year, this month, this every year, this time of month, my body just starts doing weird stuff. The veil is so thin. Yeah, and that's what I always tell the new witches, Lady Blind Wolf. Just slow down, take a deep breath, stop it for a while. Not like months, but 24 hours. Let some of it sink in, because if you don't, then the rest of it's just going to roll off of you anyway. You're not going to remember it. As long as you know the very basics, you can pretty much build your own practice from that, and watching the other older witches or how they do things. Doesn't necessarily mean you can do it just like them, by no means. And if you want to for a while, that's fine too. If it works with you, resides within you, that's fine. If not, find your own way. And having a lot of downfalls, everything is going so slow. And there are things I want to delve in, but I can't. Okay, so you're saying something is blocking your progress, or and that could also be. I'll do a reading for you. I will get my cards in a second. But that could also be, sometimes things don't happen the way we want them to or expect them to for a reason. I know you probably heard this before. You think you might be cursed? Do you have any idea who would do it or what for? Because you can always do a return to sender spell if you really feel like you are cursed. Probably not, but that's how I feel. Yeah, see, Lady Blind Wolf just told you the same thing I would too. Just make sure, but lady, she's a new witch. She may not know all the things that she can do for protection. Let me go get my cards. I'll be right back. I got them. They're in the other room, of course. Okay. Oh, my face always looks so red. I took my shower a little bit ago and scrubbed my face real good. I exfoliated it too much. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. And sometimes sometimes we don't have anything on us. It's just the way life goes. It's nothing personal. It's just, well, we just all have really bad days or years. I've had a few bad years, I believe. I always do that. Okay, let's see. We'll do 3 cards. I always feel better doing 3. That way I can give you a past, a present, and a possible future. If you look on my channel or any other witch, I would start with cleansing and then move on to witch. Salt or red brick dust. Yeah. You could always light a tea candle and imagine all the darkness being drawn to that candle. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see here for Godiva. Yeah, there's all different kinds of spiritual cleansings. I mean, thousands of them. Okay, let's see here what we're going to get. Okay, card number 1. Okay, I got the Lovers. Okay. Card number 2. Wow. And look what I drew. The 8 of Swords. Okay. This is where you are right now. That's what you feel like, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll do the future. The World. Okay. So, let me ask you a question, because I got to figure out this Lovers card. I got to figure out this past part. Did you have a boyfriend and recently break up with him? Or are y'all having issues? Something going on between you two right now? Okay. Is there an issue? Nothing's going on? Uh, well, this right here, this 8 of Swords tells me everything you just told me, actually, that you're feeling trapped, like something's holding you back. Oh, okay. Um, there's something standing in your way, and it could be standing in his way, which is also in a roundabout way standing in your way. Does that make sense? Um, it's him. Okay. 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 Right there. And of course, um, when when two people are together, the other person affects the other one. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you had something lingering from your past or going on, then it would affect the relationship and him, and vice versa. So what's happening here is he needs to, whatever has it could be the reason that y'all are in a hotel. Whatever he's doing or hasn't done to fix an issue, I don't know what it is. I'm not feeling anything right now. But there's some sort of issue. Okay, does he drink a lot? Or do you possibly do drugs or something like that? And you don't think at all that he may be back on him? Not saying he is. Don't get me wrong. Okay, good. Okay. So Does he work? Oh, okay. 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 So I'm kind of feeling like I get, oh, how do I put this? I kind of feel this, like you feel sad or trapped. Um, that you feel that this is all you can do. I don't know how to explain this. I'm getting hot though. Um, okay, so I'm getting the feeling that you're dependent on this man for I won't say survival, but I think you're um, maybe codependent. Um, I think you have another place to go if you wanted to. I just don't think, I feel like you don't want to go there for whatever reason. It's not it's not for abuse reasons or anything like that. You just don't feel welcome there, although you are. God, y'all just wouldn't believe how bad I'm sweating. Okay, well, there's something. Has a friend offered you a place to stay? Do you have a really close friend that that you've been talking to this about, that feels like family, that's really close to you? Y'all, I'm seriously sweating. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, that may be where I'm getting, because this card right here tells me everything. Pretty much what's going on right now. You're trapped. Um, you're not sure what to do. You have options. I think you know where you can go. But I also think that you feel that this man needs you more than you need him. I don't know. Yeah. So you've moved into the role of caregiver instead of mate. That's what's happened there. Okay. Now you can do whatever you want to do, and I usually don't give advice, but because I have seen and been through this, I have uh let's just say I know. Um Codependency is an extremely unhealthy um condition to have. I call it a condition. Because I mean, now it doesn't, the only reason I say that is because you tend codependent people tend to put themselves in places and positions to where their own sanity, and possibly even their own lives are at stake. You get around people that you feel just, you're afraid to leave them because you don't think they'll make it without you, or you want to make sure that they're going to be okay. And I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. In all honesty, I mean, I'm a nurse. Most nurses are codependent. That's why they become nurses, because they have that personality. Um, you can't hardly not be a nurse. And I mean, you can't hardly be a nurse and not be some sort of codependent. Um, Now you can do what you want to do, but I'll show you this, your last card. It's the World. Okay. Once you make that decision to say, I've got to go out on my own, I have to live my own life. Right. Okay. As this card says, you can still have the world. You can still have your own life. Now, okay, for instance, this is kind of weird because, um, in all honesty, I have my best friend is, well, he's 70, he may be 73 now. He's 72 or 73. I think he'll be 73 or 74 in January. But anyway, um, he helped me out of an extremely bad situation at one time. Gave me a place to live. I honestly could not believe that I had sunk that low in my life. Seriously. I was, well, I was pretty much homeless. I was homeless. I mean, I had places I could go. I had family and I had friends I could go to. But as far as um, uh, having my own room and my own space, I wouldn't have had that. Um, so he talked me into moving in his house. And I'm not going to make this some long, drawn out story. I'll try to go as fast as I can without leaving anything that's, detrimental out. Hi, my little doll baby. But I ended up moving in his house, and his wife had died a year before. And he was still depressed about her and lonely, and wasn't in the bar scene, or he had been started going because he got tired of sitting in his house all the time by himself. So anyway, I moved in there. Well, he had somebody to cook for him again, and I cleaned the house, and we became extremely good friends. We talked a lot. Hell, we lived in the same house. When I moved out, when I got back on my feet and he helped me, I decided to move plumb away, 3 hours away. And I came to the town that my daughter lives in because I hadn't seen her in a long time, and we lived so far apart that I didn't get to see her very often. So I moved here. Well, that really broke his heart because he didn't want me to go that far away. But he's like, and there's no doubt in my mind that he is in love with me. But I'm not, I don't feel that same way about him. He's more like a grandpa to me, or my best friend. He has helped me through so much. I owe him so much. But I also knew that it wasn't good for him for me to keep staying around there because, number one, I seemed to run all his dates off. And it was just time for me to move on my own again. You know what I mean? And he's still my best friend in the whole world. He'll drive up here to see me. I could hop in my car. I could call him and say I'll be there in 3 hours, and that's the way it is. But you cannot live your life to how do I put it? Just for his sake. You can still have your own life and go check on him. Go talk to him. Let him know that he can call you anytime he wants. visit you anytime he wants. I mean, I don't know why he's living in a motel room, but that nobody likes that. And I'm sure you don't. I mean, especially females, we like our own homes, our own bedrooms, our own kitchens to cook in. Okay, well, okay. Then if that's the way it is, then more power to you. I mean, I've never seen a problem with age, if that's what some people are saying. Oh, and there's no places around there that don't do that. I know most places anymore do run credit checks on renters, but that's just insane. They can't just have people living in motel rooms like that all the time. Aiden, I'll kick your butt from afar if I find out you're living in a motel room and you don't call me first. Little mister. Godiva, Aiden's my little buddy. Yeah. What about moving plumb out of town? I mean, I don't know where you live, but moving to another town, you don't have any family, you told me. He probably doesn't, being his age, unless it's kids that probably wouldn't approve of you. That would be a whole different can of worms. But there's got to be some place. That's awful expensive. I mean, I've stayed in motels before, not because I didn't have any place to go, but just because that's how I took a vacation one time. I stayed one for 2 weeks. That damn thing about broke me. Well, good, Aiden. You'll be much happier, honey. I know you've been wanting that for a long time. Ooh, you'll be right up here by me then. That'd be cool. Oklahoma City's about depending on how you drive, 2 hours tops away from me. Yeah, California's expensive. I lived out there. I lived in Anaheim in 1987. And I mean, we had a small 1 bedroom apartment and it was $615 a month. And then, I mean, that was a long time ago. I can't even fathom what it would be now. I mean, but we lived in a really nice apartment complex, had 2 swimming pools. I mean, I lived about a mile from Disneyland and watched the fireworks go off at my pool every night at 9 o'clock. Or inexpensive housing, but there's nothing to do in this. Oh, there is too, Aiden. There is too, especially in Oklahoma City. No, Godiva, there's stuff to do. Oklahoma City is pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to do there. You can go to Bricktown, to the Spaghetti Warehouse. There's all kinds of stuff at Bricktown. Of course, now with all this COVID crap going on, yeah, that's what I just said. Of course, with all this COVID going on, nobody's doing much anywhere. Oh, in Oklahoma City, awesome. See, that would be good for you. You'd have someone that you knew and could talk to. I would say y'all could just come stay with me and then I could be your teacher in person. I would just adopt you, okay? You could be my little witchling. Just kidding. Well, I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I wouldn't turn you away if you really needed a place to go. No, no, I would just wouldn't do that. But yeah, I know I need to move around some other witches. I really do. On your future career, whoa, that'd probably be a hard one. Um, I can see what they say. What do you mean in the future? I mean, this could. My cats are over here tearing each other up. You know, that's so funny that you say that because I shit you not. When I turned over that world card, a flash came in front of me about you being in school. I just didn't mention it because I see little flashes of stuff all the time and sometimes they just make no sense. We'll see what the cards say. What school are you talking about? I don't mean to sound ignorant, but some people haven't even finished high school. Never did finish. Or have you been to college and had to quit, or you dropped out college? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see what it says. Okay. Okay. King of Swords. Okay. Now this can mean a lot of different things. Depends on who you talk to. Um, does your man have you talked to him about going back to college? Does he feel a little threatened by that? I mean, does he feel kind of like maybe you're gonna do something and go off in the world and leave him behind? Okay, because the King of Swords is kind of bossy sometimes. Um, what I'm getting from this is there, yeah, something's holding you back from going, but I'm just gonna put him away. I'll tell you, do it. There's grants you can get. Now, I know right now is a horrible time with this pandemic going on, but go ahead and maybe talk to someone at a university. Of course, you're going to have to figure out where for sure you're going to live first. Wherever you get that you get stable and you know you're going to be there, find that college around you somewhere. Like you said, you wanted to move to Oklahoma City. Okay, well, you got OU, OSU, and there is there's a, of course there's Stillwater, but that would be OSU. But you have, there's a lot of trade schools and technology centers and colleges right around in this area. So I'm a firm believer that your path will eventually turn out where you need to be, but sometimes you kind of have to help it along. Right now, the feeling that I'm getting is you are both stagnant, as in you can't get anything accomplished staying in that one spot. Somebody, y'all are gonna have to put your heads together and decide, hey, we're not gonna live in this motel room anymore. We need to do something about it. And because I want to go to school. You're not getting any younger. You know what I mean? I mean, you're what, 43 years old? Um, and time goes by so fast, and before you know it, you'll be sitting there going, "Man, why didn't I do that?" You know? I mean, I don't know. Um, it's your decision. You do whatever you feel, but I just, and especially this is one thing about being a witch. You can create this thing. You can make it happen. You put your intent out there, but you're going to have to help it along too. You're going to have to say, and there'll be little hints. There'll be opportunities. You're going to have to keep your eye out once you get your intention out there that this is what you want to do. Do you know how to do a spell? I know this sounds crazy, but you said you were new, and I don't know how advanced you are in your craft. So I don't know what to tell you to do that you would know how to do. You can do a road opener spell to help you find the road and then take it. Okay, okay. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another question because this is an issue that a lot of witches have. Does he know that you're interested in this? Your boyfriend? Oh, I guess by the way you said it, he wouldn't like it, would he? So you would pretty much have to be a closet witch? You don't think he'd be okay with it? Okay, now, what do you think about that? As well, you should, Godiva. Yeah. First and foremost is you. And people may call you selfish. Now, I'm not saying just blatantly out and out go out and step on everybody to get what you want. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to take care of you. Yeah, and you won't be able to. It'll, once it's ready for you, it will keep at you and keep at you and keep at you, and it'll get harder and harder to ignore. Eventually, you might as well give in because it's who you are. It's who you are put here to be. I'm honestly surprised that it's come on you this late in life. I mean, most of the time it starts much younger. Well, you're going to have to see, now this is going to be a choice. You can either continue your own path and hide it from him, or you can explain it to him or try to talk to him about it, see if he'll accept it. Or you'll just have to go out on your own. Or leave your craft alone. I mean, you only have so many options. You can't practice because you're working at an issue. Yeah, I agree with Lady Blind Wolf. Your soul, that is your soul that's feeling trapped. Well, that's only because you haven't implemented it. I mean, that's why they call it a practice. You may have the talent, but unless you practice it, you don't perfect it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Lady Blonde Wolf, that's exactly right. And that's what I did. I practiced for, oh, at least 15 years. And then I pretty much just quit practicing. I mean, I was still who I was or am, you know what I mean? I didn't actually do my rituals. I didn't have my altar set up, nothing. I just quit doing it all. But it was still me, and it nagged at me every day for a couple of years until I went back to it, because that's just who I am. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Um, you got a big decision to make here. You have a big decision to make. And you can tell him, look, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. Now, are you going to support me in it? Or at least be quiet about it, or are we going to have to part? I'm not saying you have to have him out of your life completely. Y'all don't be friends. You just don't have to live together. And he's probably supporting you, isn't he? I'm guessing he probably gets a Social Security check, or if he was a veteran, maybe a pension, or I don't know. He gets some kind of money every month. But the main thing about the witch is we like to stand in our own power, you know. And unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've put way too much um, trust and dependence on a man. And every damn time, every single time, it has left me the one out in the cold. Right. Well, you've got a big choice to make. You can be who you were meant to be, or you can ignore it and then continue, but you won't be happy. You are not going to be happy. You will always feel that void. You'll feel something nagging at you, and you just cannot step away from it because it is you. No more than you can just walk away from yourself. You can't do it. So he's either going to have to deal with it, or I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know, that has got to be your choice. I mean, I want to see you. I want to. I mean, if y'all both love each other, that's hard to find too. Um, but part of love is accepting the other person for who they are. Um, you're a witch, an unrealized witch, right? That's right, lady. I mean, do as you will, but I would try to talk to him about it because I think he deserves that. I don't know how long y'all been together, but and he may look at you and he may go, "Well, I think you just flipped out. What's wrong with you?" I mean, I've had people tell me that. Yeah, you're a witch, my ass. Whatever, you know. But you just have to be prepared for that. And when you actually come into your witchdom, as I like to call it, you're going to have a lot of people in your time, especially if you announce that you're a witch to everyone, or if you openly wear your pinnacle, or somebody asks you your religion, you know, um, you can hide it or you can be out about it. I don't hide it. I don't hide it from my family. Um, they a lot of times think I've lost my mind, but I don't hide it from them. Even my kids, and it caused friction between me and my daughter. I mean, I think it scared her more than anything. But I mean, nobody said witchcraft is easy, and it doesn't necessarily mean just trying to do the spells. It means it's actually a path. You walk it, you live it. Path, you walk it, you live it, you breathe it. It's not something that you just pick up one day and ignore it the next, and or for the next couple of weeks, and then pick it back up. You learn. You'll figure out that once you really start practicing, whether you mean to or not, you're going to implement witchcraft in your everyday life without even knowing it. And you'll go, oh, wow, that just came naturally, you know? So, I mean, I don't want to see anybody hurt, and having to leave someone behind is never easy for either party. And that's definitely not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do is it's your decision to figure out if you want to live in your own power, or if you want to hide it, suppress it until it just eats you alive. And then you're going to probably wish you hadn't have done that, because it is inevitably that's who you are. That's what you are. So good luck with that. Yeah. Yeah, it'll start. That's what I was telling her. It'll start getting closer and closer to her and poking her on the shoulder and pushing her that direction. It'll keep pulling her because you belong to it. That you are the goddesses. So, and there's another thing. Then you got to think about which pantheon you want to follow. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. And I don't guess you have to have a god or goddess, but most do. Um, you'll just figure out it's going to be harder, to keep walking away from it. And I'll tell you another thing: if there is already a goddess that has you in her sights, or God, I tend to say goddess a lot just because I'm that way. You're going to find out that things will start going on and happening in your life until you have no choice. And all of a sudden, a name or a picture, or maybe even a show, a movie that you're watching, something will pop on there and trigger something in your brain and all of a sudden a name's going to come to you, you know, or it could be some other sign. Um, you could be driving down the road and see a billboard that says a certain thing, you know, and anyway, something will trigger that in your mind, and you're going to get this name, and you're like, who is that? Who is that? And especially if you don't know anything about the pantheons, then you don't know these goddesses' names, whether it be the Egyptian, uh, the Fae, Greek, um, the Strega, or even the left-hand path. You know, I mean, there's so many different ones. So, and you may change. You know, you may be directed towards one goddess that went first, and then she'll introduce you to another one. All of a sudden, another one will start appearing, or in your head that you've never thought about before. And that's because your original goddess is introducing you to this one for whatever reason. Yeah. And see, I'm actually Irish, but I have never followed the Irish pantheon because originally and from the very beginning, it was the Greek goddess um, Hecate that approached me, and I've been with her pretty much ever since. So yeah, it is a whole lot to learn. The main thing you need to do is make sure that you know who you are, what you want, what you expect to get out of the craft. And then the craft will tell you what you're going to get. I know all the witches seem to think that they're in control of it, but in all honesty, we really aren't. We gain this power from the goddess, so, or that's how I believe. That's another thing. That's what I was telling you before. You know, you're going to have so many people telling you so many different things. Um, every witch is different, and every witch may tell you a different thing. That's what I'm saying. Instead of letting it baffle you, thinking, oh, I should be that way, or I'm not a good witch if I don't do it this way. No, they're just the ways they do it. You can pick, and whatever resonates with you, then you stick with. Don't feel like you have to be a certain type of witch or follow a certain deity. You know, like I said, some witches really don't even have one, and I believe that they have one. They've just not ever really been in contact with them. Yeah, that's what I told her before. Just take this, whatever resonates with her, take it, and eventually she'll build her own practice. And now, and also you'll have Wicca, which is a whole different realm of witchcraft. It's a whole different. It's a religion and thing all by itself. They have a reed that they go by, kind of like the Christians have their 10 Commandments. Um, they believe in the no harm rule, which I don't. Now, I'm not saying that I go around just purposely for no reason trying to harm people. No way. But if they harm me or want to make, my life miserable or whatever, then I'll gladly return the favor. I have no problem with that. And I don't feel bad about it. It's either me or them. So, I mean, and now it's odd that you're feeling this way this time of year because, as you know, they the veil will become thinner and thinner every day. So don't be surprised if your heart's reaching out for this path, that this path don't come to you. The veil is going to be extremely thin. And I mean, the gods and goddesses can get to you anyway, but you may start seeing things that only certain people can, or sensing or smelling. Um, I would be extra attentive. I'll put it that way. Keep your radar up, and make sure that you look around you, see the signs. A good foundation to a point to learn about discipline, but that is just my opinion and speaking as a former. Right. Well, and I mean, she may, you can even study Wicca and see if that's where you want to be. But most people, in all honesty, a lot of them do start as a Wiccan, but then they decide to go out on their own and be a sole practitioner. Um, I was never actually what I consider a Wiccan. Um, Whenever I first started reading the books, really, those are the only books that I could find in the really small town library that I lived in. Um, I got really curious and I started reading on certain things, and the only book I could find was on Wicca. So I read that, and then I thought, no, that doesn't sound like me. But that's another thing. Don't force yourself to be on a certain path or in a certain pantheon, because you're not should be. You'll just you'll get that peace, like you finally got won a race or something. It's like, whew, this is where I belong. This is who I belong with. You know, um, you could join a coven or not join a coven. I mean, there's good and bad when it comes to covens, as there's good and bad in everything. So, I mean, that's completely up to you too. I mean, I just call it a gathering. You know, and if we had to do a spell, say a person in our group, was going through something or whatever, and we needed to help her along, then we would all be there. The more energy, the better when casting a spell or doing a rot. But it wouldn't be something like you see in your Wicca stuff. You know what I mean? I know you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. See, I forget that you're so new. I just ramble on. But I do like, a bunch of witches getting together and talking about their own ideas. But in a coven, you go under the priestess, and there's rules in every coven. Some of them aren't so hard to, your main ones will be don't tell anybody about the coven or where you meet. That was my main one when I, had mine. Don't tell anybody where we are. But you have to know and make sure you can trust your priestess. No, personally, I'm solitary, but I would participate in ritual with people every so. Right, right. So, yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you, you will never stop learning, ever, ever, as long as you live and as long as you walk this path. Every single day, you will learn something. Even us older witches, us crones, I still learn something new every day, even about my own craft, about myself, because we're changing, as human beings, as individuals, we change all the time with different ages and different things that happen in our lives. We are always changing and evolving or doing something. So why wouldn't our craft change? You know, I mean, just because you start out one way doesn't have to mean that, oh, I have to stay that way or I'm doing something wrong. No, your path grows with you, or should I say, as you follow that road's going to take you down to a lot of different places. Sorry about the metaphor, but that's the only way I can describe it. It's like being on a highway, and it says exit here. Well, you exit there and you'll experience this, and you get back on the highway and you go to the next town and you stop over here and you experience that, and so on. I mean, that's the best way on how to put it. This path is extremely gratifying to me anyway. Not only do you feel, it makes you feel, as a woman, it makes you feel more into your own power. You're not bound by any certain rules. That's one reason that I can't do the Wicca thing, because I'm not going to have a whole bunch of other women telling me what I can and cannot do, or what spell I can and cannot cast. It is not going to happen. I have been on my own too long, and I know my way, and my way is fine. So, not that, I mean, for somebody else it's fine, but for me, no, I don't like being bossed around or told what to do. So, I mean, I'm sorry, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but to me, that's how Christianity is. Okay, well, harm none, turn the other cheek. Read the Ten Commandments. I mean, do you see the comparisons there? I don't do that. I mean, that just sounds like too much of like the Christian religion to me. And there's nothing wrong. There's Christian witches. When I first heard that, let me tell you something, I flipped out on that one. I mean, I don't normally ever say, what? Because in this path, in this field, I'll just say field, nothing should surprise you, because there's always somebody out there doing something different or coming up with something different. So nothing really ever surprises me until I actually heard that there were Christian witches. And there for a while, I was like, whatever. I mean, that was one thing I butted heads with. And I went on. I had met this girl, and here I was all excited. I have a witch, blah blah, and I had asked her who her god or goddess was, and she said, "Well, it's Jesus Christ." Well, I thought either she had lost her mind, or I had misheard the entire conversation that I had with her. I was like, "What? What do you mean?" I mean, it just startled me. And she started explaining it to me. I was like, "No way. No way." I said, "What does that Bible tell you about witches? What does it tell you to do with witches?" I mean, I was livid. I was like, "Oh no." And then she kind of started, telling me things, and it's like, okay, well, why don't you call yourself a prophet then instead of a witch? The witch name was put on us a long time ago, and it had absolutely nothing to do with the Christian God. I still don't understand it all, but as I always say, to each their own. I mean, she explained a little bit of it to me, like instead of me going to Hecate, she calls on Jesus. I said, well, they do that in church. Do you go to church? She said, no. Anyway, she just, I don't know. She confused the hell plumb out of me. I was like, okay, whatever. You know, I said, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't think we can hang out, because if you're with Jesus and he don't like witches, then I'm in trouble. I don't know. And that's another thing, Gadavi. You're gonna see. So I told you, you'll even hear them arguing over it. And I just have to go, okay, whatever, so be it. You do you, and I'll do me. Just go on, do your own thing. Uh, I don't know. And I'm telling you, you'll see witches get into wars and throwing shit at each other, and I just think it's insane. I mean, witches are not supposed to act that way. Yeah, and I have found honestly, in since I've been on YouTube and listening, I won't even say nothing. I'll just watch certain shows or people talking to each other or debating on whatever, and all of a sudden the witches will start arguing. You know, um, I just turn it off. I'm like, really? We of all people are supposed to be above that sort of thing happening. To each their own. Do as you will. Um, but I have literally, I thought they were going to come to blows a few times. It's like that is just insane. The thing that I notice with Christians is that they seem to want to deny or ignore their own history. Yeah, yeah, yep. I mean, I could go on and on and on about that, but I just won't because, well, I'm just not going to waste my breath on it because it is what it is. Um, they can do whatever they want. Just leave me be and let me do what I want. I'm not out there walking the streets with pamphlets in my hand trying to convert everybody over to Hecate. You know, she'll go to them when she wants them. But yeah, Gaddafi, it's not an easy path, sweetheart. I'll promise you that. And I think, honestly, that is exactly why most witches are solitary because they don't have to deal with all that crap. And most witches are more content being by themselves anyway. I mean, or like with TikTok when they go around trying to hex the moon. You know what? I know. I'm gonna tell you something about this, Lady Blondel. Someone messaged me and asked me if I had seen that, and all I could do was laugh. I mean, the audacity. Are you kidding me? Really? It's like you get right out there and do it. And you know what? I'm sorry for their luck because that is not going to go down well with the spirit realm. Yeah. Um, that was not a good thing for them to do or attempt to do. It's just completely stupid. Really, the nerve of someone thinking that they can put themselves above the gods. The very moon that has been sitting there since before or during this earth, while this earth was being created. Are you kidding me? Oh, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe how ignorant. Those cannot possibly be true witches. No way. I just can't believe it. And see, ignorant people, idiots like that, give us a bad name. Well, they can keep on trying to do that shit, and eventually, I'm sorry, but there's not going to be much good in their life from now on. You mark my words. I mean, I don't know names and all that of everybody that did it, but I guarantee you, if you could keep tabs on them, it ain't gonna be good. There are true witches in Hollywood. Yeah, why wouldn't there be? I mean, I don't see why there wouldn't be. Um, I believe there's witches everywhere, probably in every single town. There's probably at least one witch in every single town, if not more. Some of them may be in the closet, but they're there nonetheless. You just want to stand 30 feet away from them and hold the mirror out so it doesn't. Yeah, right. Yeah, Stevie Nicks. Yeah, she's a witch. I mean, she has never come out and said that I know of, but you can tell. You can tell by her songs if you listen to the words of some of her songs. Um, I've just thought, and what's weird is I adored her. Well, I think I heard her for the first time when I was 15. I had been in a kind of military school for about 8 years, and I didn't even really know about Stevie Nicks until I got out of there, and from the minute I heard her, she just resonated with me. I just loved her, and then here recently, in the past, I don't know how many years, she's pretty much come out and said, what she is. So two of us busted our butts to get banned and involved in an investigation because she was using her path as a means to get Kitty Pro. I don't guess I know about that. What is Kitty Pro? I don't know anything about that. I don't do TikTok, so yeah, Godiva. Yeah. I don't listen to Beyonce, but the one time that I seen an interview with her, I pretty much got that vibe. Oh, oh, that's horrible. I'm telling them, they better watch that crap because now they're messing with the wrong thing. Not only the porn, I mean that's a horror show in itself with children. That's just plumb friggin' disgusting. But when they involve the gods and goddesses and crap like that, oh, it's just not going to be good for them. No, Vanity. I don't guess I know who that is either. That it kind of sounds familiar, but I don't know. That's another thing, Godiva. I swear there are so many politics and witchcraft nowadays. It's just, that's why you're going to have to be, secure in your knowledge and yourself. Don't let anybody sway you. You're going to have to know the true ones and the not so true. I had to laugh because they were talking about God's pausing and being the human incarnation of certain deities, even saying Medusa was a goddess. That's the stuff she was having out of her mouth. Well, now some people do believe Medusa is a goddess. I mean, that's not the story or the original story that I was taught. She was a priestess of Athena before she was turned in. Athena turned her into a snake. gosh, that's the stuff she was having on her. From being sick, she had dated Prince for a long time. I didn't ever listen to her, I guess. Or maybe I heard a song or two from her and just don't know. I don't know. I grew when I was growing up, I was a rocker. I mean, God. Oh, yeah, I listened to Black Sabbath and AC/DC and Def Leppard, and I listened to all them. So yeah, I'm not very. I don't know. I don't, and I do not listen to rap. But okay, and yeah, see, in mythology, she started out as the priestess of Athena. She was in the temple and she was approached by Poseidon, and Poseidon raped her. She had no choice. I mean, he raped her, and Athena found out about this, and instead of feeling sorry for her, and because it wasn't her fault. I mean, what are you going to do? A god comes out of the ocean and rapes you, like you're going to tell him no, or even um, try to push him away? I don't think so. But Athena was still extremely upset, and this is because Poseidon had a vendetta to settle with Athena. It's a whole big story behind it, but Medusa was used as a pawn in Poseidon's little game against Athena. So when he found Medusa in the temple, that's when he struck. Athena finds out and banishes her, and not only banishes her, but makes her to where no other man will ever look at her without turning to stone. You were a stone cold headbanger. Well, yeah, kinda. Yeah, I guess you could say so. But with a lot of gods and goddesses of pathology and the people of mythology, there's always more than one story. Right, right. Um, but after Athena did that, she went on and joined um there and see, for a long time I didn't even know there was two other Gorgons. And I right now I cannot remember their names. I know their names and it'll come to me when I'm off here, but right now I cannot. One almost came to me. Anyway, there was she joined the other two because that's where she fit in, or they were her sisters, something like that. She anyway, they became the three sisters, the Gorgons. And I mean, that could be a piece of the story that was left out. A couple more and did that too to them. Maybe they were Medusa sisters, in real life, and they also were turned. There's nothing that even says that. That's just pure speculation on my part. But I honestly, I thought Athena, wow. When I heard, learned that, and this was years ago. Hell, I was still a teenager when I heard that or learned that. But yeah, I took Latin in high school, and of course, I wasn't sure that I was going to go in the medical field at that time, but come to find out, it helped in my mythology, and it helped in my career because, as we all know, doctors write in Latin. Actually, it looks a lot worse than that, most of their writing, but all the medical terminology is derived from Latin. It's really interesting. The other version, her mother was Echidna, but I can't remember who her sister was. See, I've never heard her mother was Echidna. Or maybe I did hear and just forgot all about it because I had known that one version for so long that it stuck with me. But yeah, it just depends on which version you read. Huh. It's interesting to research all this stuff, though. I mean, there's so many different versions and stories that have been passed down, and some of it's been changed or lost. Or who were the Nephilim? Nephilim. Those were supposedly half human and half angels, which is hard to believe that they could even exist because I was actually raised in church. My grandmother was like, she lived next door to the Christian God. She was just a pure, true Christian. And when, I was all interested about the angels when I was a little girl because I always thought I would see them, you know. And grandma would say, no, if you actually seen a real angel, your heart would stop. She said, if God actually pulled back the veil, it would scare you plumb to death. And so I got to asking her about them, and she said they are beings of light. And I said, okay, are they male or female? What blah. She was like, they have no sex. They are neither male nor female. They are beings. Usually with pantheons, it's a particular character is popular in more than one culture. So there's all these. Right. Um, yeah, she said that they were just beings. They were neither sex. Okay. So when the Nephilim came about, I got to thinking, okay, well, if they don't have um, a sex organ, how could they reproduce? To have these demigods, or I mean, that's just like with please, all your demigods, that had either goddesses or gods for their mother or father, and then the other was human. They were demigods. So, but the Nephilim weren't gods; they were angels. So there's another one to think about. Hearn, for example. Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that. But that's what I'm saying. This is a subject that you could, it could take you everywhere there is to go. You can literally start at one point, and before you know it, you're plumb down here, 1,000 miles away from the original subject, because it seems everything just is intertwined, and everything is intertwined somehow. I mean, everybody knows that there's something. Okay, let's just forget that we're witches for right now. There is no specific religion. Um, Mankind in and of itself has always believed in a higher power. Since we can find history being written, even the hieroglyphs, the paintings on the caveman walls, every single human being has always felt a different entity, whether they called them gods and goddesses back then, whatever. On one side of the world, you've got Greece, over here doing this and that. And at one point, people could not get across the oceans. Ocean travel was non-existent. But you have people oceans apart from each other. How did they get there? I mean, what, a tornado come along, just pick certain people up and take them off to another end of the world? How did they get there? And also, how would neither say we got this group over here and this group over here, and there's the Atlantic Ocean in between them? No way they'd ever talk to each other to compare notes. How does this same individual over here believe in a being, maybe not called the same thing that this is, but they still believe in a different being, or they have seen, or they have their own religion because they know that there's something else. The Indians, they're over here in America. They had their own. I wouldn't call them. I don't think they ever called them gods and goddesses. I believe they just called them spirits. And they believed everything had a spirit. The trees, they still do. I'm, believe it or not, Cherokee and Creek and Irish. So they believed everything had a soul. They did dances for and not all tribes believe the same thing. That's right. It just all depends on who put the first idea in there or who got the first calling. So, in all honesty, who's to say that it's really not all the same thing, just called something different? And human beings themselves have determined on which way we worship and how things are done in that specific religion. Nobody ever said that God himself said this and that's bad. Moses said that because he is the one that came down from Mount Sinai with those 10 commandments. So God did not specifically come down and talk to each man on the earth. Even though I guess he could have, omnipotent. But there's always messengers. And it all depends on how that human being interprets, whether it be a dream, whether it be a vision, which could be also a dream, but I've had visions wide awake. So, or rather it would be just a knowing. And I don't know how to explain that one, because there's sometimes I just know and I have no idea how. Nobody's taught me this. Nobody has told me anything about it. I just know, but as with anything else, each individual has their own opinion. So these opinions could have been stretched. This is another reason that you the all the different branches of churches, even in the Christian religion, they don't all believe the same way either. You go to the church I was raised in, the Pentecostal, which branched off, Assembly of God, which branched off the Pentecostal religion. We had guitars, we had drums, we had you name it, just like a rock and roll band in our church. And I mean, they played loud and hard. It was Christian music, of course, but it was just like being at a concert, you know. Now, you go to a Church of Christ, they do not believe in music. There's no music in their church. They sing, but there are no instruments in any Church of Christ you go to, or any one that I've ever heard of anyway. The Methodists are just almost the same way. My great grandmother was Methodist. Yes, and they're all fringes from the Catholic Church. Yeah. Now the Catholic Church, that's one for you. Which I've always believed, if there was a religion the closest to witchcraft that worshiped the God, the Christian God, it would be Catholics. Because look at all the statues they have. They call them saints. We call ours goddesses, you know. They have myrrh in their, they do rites in their churches. They have mass. And that seems very weird to me because, and I'm not, I'm going to say this right now, disclaimer, I am not cutting down the Catholic religion, okay, at all. So I don't want to get a bunch of people on here that are Catholics going, yeah, no, you do this, you do that. That is not at all what I'm doing. I'm comparing something. But that's why each church is named after a saint. We call them gods and goddesses. They call them saints. They have statues of Mary. You know, a lot of times they'll pray through Mary. They pray to Mary. Okay. The Bible says, put no graven image before me. It doesn't say except for a statue of Mary or except for Mary. It doesn't say that. Okay. Not that that religion is wrong. That's how they believe. That's the way they do it. But guess who were the ones that went and killed all the witches? Who started the witch hunts? Just saying. Marie Laveau. Was it about Drott? Was mass every Sunday and then went down the road and did hoodoo rituals. Yep. Because a lot of them people, and now they call themselves Christian witches. A lot of the people that you hear call themselves a Christian witch are Catholics. I know who you meant. I know who you meant. And I mean, that's fine. I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's just ironic. And the Catholics nowadays, I'm sure they have nothing to do with the witches. It's the religion as a whole. You know, I mean, where do you see all the little boys get molested? There has been so much brought up in secrets about the Catholic Church, and they were in control basically of the world for a long time, for a very long time, especially in Rome. I mean, Marilla, let's not talk about the Magdalene laundries or the tomb babies. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can do your own research there. I'm not going to sit here and, name off all the bad things about it, all that, because that's not my job. But I mean, it's just ironic to me, you know, that the witches could have helped. They're the Catholics and the way they do things are so different than the way the witches worship. But yet they were the first ones to kill them. To me, that throws up a red flag. It's like, why? Why? Why would you kill them? I don't know. I don't know. That's exactly why I just don't do religion. I don't know. And like I said, I'm not saying anything bad about the Catholics. I'm just making comparisons. I have a bunch of friends, good friends that are Catholic. I'm asking them questions all the time. And I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. I'm just simply trying to figure it out, trying to get it sorted in my head why everything just seems so hypocritical to me. I don't know. And I asked the Christian witch one time, okay, how can you call yourself a Christian witch when the um, the Bible, in plain words, no misspelling, says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." I was listening to a Catholic sermon where a priest was telling people to stay away from witches because we'll make their cars break down and all that kind of crazy stuff. Oh my. Seriously, and that's what's so funny. People don't think that we have better things to do. They think we just sit around cursing people. No. We got better things to do than worrying about what the hell everybody else is doing. We live our own lives, our own paths. I don't care. Well, yeah. And it's probably their own damn guilty consciences causing them to have that fear. You know? I didn't do anything to them. Leave me be, I'll leave you be. You bother me, I'll bother you back. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, if you're Protestant, Methodist, Church, I don't care. If you're black, white, green, yellow, orange, I don't care. Male or female. If you hurt me first, I'm going to retaliate. It don't matter. So say goodbye. These are the little conversations that you better get ready for, or you can just choose not to ever have them. But I am too inquisitive. But if I want to know something, I ask, and that's how you learn. I want people's opinions. I like I said, I had some really good friends that were Catholics that didn't even agree with what some of the other Catholics did. Just because this one person is a Catholic and this person's a Catholic doesn't mean that they're going to feel the same way this one does. You see what I'm saying? They're human too. They're going to have their own opinion. So there, that one is. I would rather just sit with my goddess and light my own candles and do my own thing. I ain't bother nobody, and nobody better bother me. It would just be nice to have other witches closer to me. I had one living here for a while. Of course, life sometimes just makes it to where you go to work, you don't have the energy or you want to go perform a ritual. We're eating babies. There's no, yeah. Well, I can't say that about me. Mine ain't that big, but me and I'd probably fall into the fire and burn my damn self. Nobody'd have to set me on fire. But yeah, as far as I know, in all my years of witchcraft and knowing 1,000 or at least 1,000 witches, not one of us have ever sacrificed a baby. Not one of us. Or an animal that I know of. Because we love animals. Why are we going to go kill one? I don't, I don't, I don't think, I know I couldn't do it. I could not do it. You know, I mean, there's so many wives' tales about witches. It's just amazing how totally ignorant some people are, you know. And I think that's why I kind of laid back or laid low for a while, because as strongly I feel about who I am and what path I'm on, I still respected, and loved my grandmother so much. Um, and she was a devout Christian. Um, she was one of those Christians that did not preach your head off. She was not a hypocrite. She did not judge you, you know. Now, with her immediate family, she would say, you better stop doing that. You're going to go to hell. Or, you need to know God. Or, she might say something like that, but she would not ever just keep on and on and on until it was sickening, you know. And just the way she lived, you could just tell she was just a good lady. And but she found one of my books, one of my witchcraft books one time. Oh my. I thought she was going to have a heart attack on me. She got so mad and upset. Get it out of this house and da 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 da. And I mean, just to appease her, I got it out of her sight and out of, never had another one around her. Not because I was trying to lie to her about it or anything like that. I just didn't want to hurt her, because she was convinced in her mind that I was going to go to hell, and it just broke her heart. So I did not talk about it, and I sure did never let her catch me practicing. I had more respect for her than that, you know. So I hated, still felt like I was lying to her, but we just never talked about it again. Just all there was to it. Y'all, I've been on here almost 2 hours, but it's fun. May have to close this one off and jump back on. I don't know how long it'll let me talk. But I don't know. There's so much, there's so many unanswered questions, so many opinions. It's really tiring. I have two. One big old fat one's laying down here. He's kind of a orange and white, and then I have a solid black one that's younger. He's a male, and of course she's female wherever she's at. Probably laying there on my bed. They're my babies. And then of course I have several outside that are wild that I feed. It's kind of like a cat farm out there. Hey guys, I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to come back on, okay? Because I think after she cut me off anyway. I don't know. It's never done it. And I did tear on here one night for 4 hours. But I'm going to shut this one down and then I'll come right back on, okay? Be right back, lady.